what's Seneca? What's your dog's name again?
His name is Pharaoh.
Pharaoh, that's right. Okay. Let's see. So how's you guys' week been going? Good, excellent. So you're Stephanie, and what is your name again?
I'm Greg.
Greg, okay. We have lots of people in this class, which is great. I love it when the families get involved. It's fantastic. Okay, so we still got 4 more we're waiting on. I'll give them a couple of, maybe 3 minutes, and then we'll get going.
With this food. I'll wait to give them the tick stuff tomorrow. Give them too much at once. Hey, Pop.
Hi. Pharaoh.
Smells bad.
Yeah.
How's Pharaoh's week been going?
Great.
Yeah, cool.
Great. He had his first vet visit today. He's got a little bit of conjunctivitis and giardia,
Uh-oh.
but
That's
he's
no
been,
fun.
but he's great. He doesn't seem out of sorts.
Not too worked up about it. Good to hear. Excellent. Okay, we've got some more people coming in. Let's see. Okay. Hey, Quinn, how is it going?
It's going all right.
Good, good. And how's Scooter?
He's doing pretty well.
Good, good. I'm anxious to meet everybody, all the little pups today.
Yeah,
Cool.
it's a little crazy some days, but
Yeah, well, he's a puppy. Yeah, understand. And let's see. Christopher or Chris? Chris. Yes. How's it going?
I'm good.
Good.
Yeah, doing well.
Excellent. And see, your puppy is Ollie, right?
Yeah, she's good.
Yeah. Okay. And let's see. Where's Katie? So Pete and Katie, how's it going? Nice to see you.
hi,
How's your week? How's your week been going?
pretty good.
Good,
Yeah,
good,
just
good. How's
Christmas
little
prep.
Rosie doing? Little Rosie hanging in there?
Hanging in there.
Good. Let's see. I think 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're waiting on one more, but I think we're going to go ahead and get going because we have a lot to cover as always. I'm going to just turn my heater down real quick. Okay. You can see my little Lolly's ears here. Hi, you're doing real good. Thank you. I thought we'd just start out with one more round of intros and, oh, you got a flirt stick. Oh, that's excellent. They love that. And if you just give me the whole family's names, your pup's name, that'll be sufficient for today. Just to have everybody sort of get a little reminder of everyone in the class. Let's see, the Muir family, you're on.
Hi, I'm Jesse. This is Atticus. This is Atticus.
Hi, I'm Ignotus.
This is Ignotus. And we have Gloria, who is our pup. And my wife Kimberly's working tonight.
Okay. Okay, Stephanie, you guys want to go ahead?
Sure. Hey, everybody. I'm Stephanie. That's guys.
Oh, I'm Atticus.
I'm sorry.
Oh, are you kidding? We got 2 Atticuses. That's a first for me. Wonderful.
And Pharaoh.
Great. Okay, so Atticus, and what's your name? The UBC?
Seneca.
Seneca, I already got you. Now you look different when you're further away from the camera. Sorry about that. Let's see. Let me just make that quick note. Where got you? It's very unusual to have 2 Atticus. To even have 1 Atticus is unusual. I like that name a lot. Okay, wonderful. Quinn, you want to go for it?
So we're Quinn and Aaron.
Oh, hey, Aaron, how's it going?
I'm good.
He's a little shy.
No, I totally understand. This is kind of forcing us all to be in the limelight, and not all of us like that. So we have to sort of just do it anyway. But you know,
We've got Scooter here.
okay, great. Okay, Katie and Pete. Well, yeah, go for it.
Hi, I'm Katie.
And
Yeah,
I'm
I
Pete.
just gave that away.
Yeah.
Can we see a little peek of Rosie?
We're Katie and Pete, and here's
There
Pete and
she
Rosie.
is. All right. Hi, little one. Okay. Chris.
Cool. I'm Chris. My partner's name is Kurt. He'll be here kind of sporadically.
Okay,
He's
excellent.
as well. And then this is Ollie.
Oh, look at him. Okay, wonderful.
Wow.
So yeah, you've got the job of being the communicator to Kurt about everything that's been going on in here. So
Exactly.
okay, wonderful. I wanted to do just a quick check-in with everyone to see if number one, you made your decision, obviously, about whether you're going to use a clicker or a marker word, and also just make sure that you guys are still that you all understand the purpose of it and how and when we're using it. Just want to make sure the air is cleared on that before we proceed, because we're going to be using our marker today. Does anyone have any questions about how that works? Did any of you guys have a chance to do some charging of your marker at all the course of the week? Just conditioning is basically geeky way to put it is we're conditioning the marker to let the dog know that it predicts the treats. So looks like I'm getting nods from everybody, and no one's if you have a question, Quinn, did you have a question or just?
I do. Since we have 3 dogs, we're wondering what the best way is to kind of handle that when all 3 dogs are around us. Like,
Yes.
click the clicker and give all 3 of them a treat? Or
Yes.
is that too much wait time for some of them?
Okay, if you're working on one behavior, say, I'll just use sit as an example, and
Sure.
say you ask for a sit from your puppy. First of all, what I would recommend is you would probably just be trying to work on one behavior with your puppy, unless you think they're all going to sit. Because what's going to happen is if you say sit and then only one of your dogs sits, and then you deliver the treat to the dog that sat, then I guess that's not really a big deal. I'm trying to think. With my dogs, the way I do it is I usually just work on one dog at a time. But there are exceptions to that. I do recall at the same time. And I let a little lag for the straggler to come in, and the other ones still, pretty much get that it's the coming to me that works. If you're worried about maybe your dog hearing from another room that the marker word's happening and they're thinking, oh, I'm not getting a treat. Dogs do discriminate pretty well when that clicker or that marker is intended for them.
Okay.
It's not going to give them a complex.
Okay.
They're amazing at how they can figure that out, because in an in-person class, clickers are going off, because
That's true.
we mainly used clickers, but we didn't require it. So there are clickers going off everywhere, but they discriminate when that clicker is for them. But if you want to train all at the same time, it maybe will be a little less efficient, but it doesn't mean that you can't do that. And it's not a problem for there to be more of a delay for you to get the treat to the other dog. But if you're training and you're finding that a lot of the times only one of the dogs is sitting, then you deliver the treat to the one that's sitting and the other 2 don't get it because they didn't sit. Well, they didn't sit, so they just don't get the treat.
Okay.
But what you can do, it's complicated. I mean, there's lots of answers to that question, but what you can do is work on getting one of your dogs to, oh, here comes the other one. I'll put that on hold for a minute.
Sure.
See who we're waiting on. I think that was, so I think it was Shanna and Christopher that we're waiting on. Well, while they're getting settled in, I'll go ahead and finish with the answer to that. Hey, hi, how's it going?
Hi,
Is that
good.
Shannon? Are you Shannon? Pleasure to
Yeah.
meet you. How's it going? Good.
Good.
Glad to have you here. We're kind of getting rolling, but we haven't really done much yet. So you're still good. Just answering a question that Quinn had about training multiple dogs. What I was going to say is what you can do is, I don't know at what levels that your dogs are at, but if you can have one dog maybe chilling on their mat while you're training with the other dog is going to be getting a reward for chilling on their mat. So you'll toss a treat to them because they're doing that whilst you're training that. But you might be in a spot where with my dogs, if I'm working and they're all in the room, they're all going to be right up to me. And, because I haven't done a ton of individually getting them to settle while I'm training. But it is something. There's some books out there on multi-dog households that can maybe give you some ideas too. I think there's one just called, just Google multi-dog. I think there might be one with Gene Donaldson that had a little bit to do with, maybe Google Gene Donaldson multi-dog households, and something will come up, but that might give you some ideas of how to go about that. Since you're working with a puppy, it might be more efficient for you, at least here in the beginning, to just maybe isolate them when you're working on these behaviors, just to make it easier for him not to have the distractions of the other dogs around. But yeah, you can get super creative when you've got multi-dogs. There's a trainer called Kinderpuppy, and she has, oh my gosh, I think she's probably got, well, I had 5 dogs at one time, so I have no room to speak, but I think she's got about 5, maybe 6 dogs. And in some of her training videos, she'll have her dogs chilling on the outskirts, and and she'll be working with one dog. And that's part of their training, is to be rewarded while the distraction of her training. So it's kind of like she's multi-training at the same time, but they're getting rewarded for different things. So you can make you can make it as complicated or as simple as you want. But I would probably isolate your puppy here in the beginning because everything is so fresh and new, and all that distraction of another dog might be too much for them. But down the line is definitely something to work towards.
Thank you so much.
Oh yeah. Okay. So we did another little round of intros. Shannon, do you want to give us a quick intro with just your name and your dog's name?
Shannon, and this is Reggie.
Let me see little Reggie. I was wondering to see, I think I got a little glimpse last time. Oh yeah, you are a teeny one. Look a little, oh, I love that widow's peak right down the head. That's beautiful. So what I like to do, if possible, is to start out every class. Is that Pharaoh on the mat back there? I am loving that. Everyone, please take a look at that. That is grand. What I like to do is start out every class and having your puppy settle on their mat with a long-term chew, a Kong, a bully stick, or a rest, whatever they're doing. If Pharaoh's not sleeping, I would definitely go ahead and even if Pharaoh was sleeping, I would go ahead and reward that. Just quietly go down and lay some, just very slowly, not excitedly, lay some treats next down to your dog. Even while Scooter, right? Yeah, Scooter is over there working on bully stick. I love it. You can lay some treats down next to Scooter. I got that right? Yeah. And not only does not only does he get a bully stick, he also just gets some treats laid next down to him. He's getting double rewarded for it. And we want to do it very slowly and very calmly because we don't want them to like get up off and what they're doing, come running over there. So very calmly, just deliver some treats. So I like to start out with our dog settling. Excellent. I love it. Rosie's doing great over there. I would just also just lay some treats down next to her very calmly. What we're doing is what I talked about in orientation is we're marking and rewarding the behaviors that we like to see, because behaviors that are rewarded, i.e. reinforced, will go up in frequency. So then you will start to see more of it. Even if they're over there sleeping, you can just quietly sneak some treats. When they wake up, they're going to be like, oh, they're going to connect the dots. It's like I'm just sleeping and boy, I just open my eyes and there's just, this royal little reward there waiting for me. So again, I can't emphasize enough. We need to mark, and not even necessarily mark. When they're relaxed like that, I would just sneak some treats in like that. If you find them just chilling on their mat. Notice and reward that as often as possible. And on the subject, I think I might have mentioned this in orientation, just a reminder that chewing is a passive calming activity. If they're chewing on a Kong or chewing on a bully stick or a marrow bone, which by the way, those are the 3 things that I really recommend. Definitely not raw hides, super hard to digest. Cooked bones can shatter, so that's a bit dangerous. Bully sticks, raw marrow bones, and Kongs are the 3 things that I recommend the most. When they're working on this, using their jaws, using licking, chewing, they're releasing endorphins. And they are also they are in a chill position working on something. They are being rewarded for that without you doing anything. And also they're being rewarded by the release of endorphins. So it's like a self-contained passive calming activity that you don't have to do anything. And so they are being trained in and of it just that little cocoon of events that are happening is a training event without you having to even get involved in it. So I highly recommend that you chew train your dog. If you're going to give them Kongs, start out easy and work up to that. In other words, don't make it too difficult for them to extract the contents because they need to build up frustration tolerance. Puppies don't have much of that. You might have noticed that as you go along. So chew training. And so we'll start out class with our dogs working on some kind of long-term chew. So while I do my talking, they're entertained and they're getting rewarded for that. So quickly, I wanted to check in how the mouthing's going. Are you executing the timeouts when you're getting those hard bites? And if so, are you noticing any improvement as you're leaving your puppy for 10 to 20 seconds and then coming back and again, interacting with them? Anybody want to interject anything on that? Any comments, any questions, any progress or lack thereof? I'm going to hope that means that things are going better. Okay, excellent. So now we want to start working on the number 2 bites, the medium bites. I like that. Thumbs up to you too. So these are the ones that hurt but aren't really leaving a mark, but they smart a little. So now I want you to start targeting those and doing the same thing. Leaving your puppy for 10 to 20 seconds if you're getting that. Make a little yelping sound or whatever works for you guys. Like I said, some dogs are more excitable when they hear a noise, and it will actually escalate the mouthing. But most dogs will heed that and they'll be like, whoa, what just happened? So, so now we are targeting the medium, the number 2 bites at this point. And the love nips, we're just redirecting the little nibbles, things that don't really matter much. I just want you to redirect them onto a toy, a rope, a ball, roll a ball, just kind of get them angled in towards something else other than your flesh. Okay. Moving on. Okay, we're going to our first activity. I just wanted to ask real quickly what everyone's using so I can kind of listen for it when I'm going around doing some coaching as far as your marker. Quinn, are you using a clicker or a word?
Clicker.
Okay, you're using a clicker. Chris with Ollie.
We're using a clicker.
Okay. Kimberly and Jesse with Gloria. Where are you?
We're using a word.
Okay, and what word are you using?
Yes.
Perfect. Love it. Whoops, hold on one second. Shannon with Reginald. I know that I'm hoping that Christopher had a chance. Oh, Christopher, oh, there you are. Hey, I didn't see you were there. So are you kind of on board with where we're at and everything? Because I know that you weren't, here during orientation, but have you guys decided what are you using, a clicker or a marker word?
Clicker.
Okay, excellent. And Stephanie and Greg with Pharaoh.
We are using a marker word, and that word is yes.
Okay, perfect. Let's see, did I leave anyone out? Ollie, Billy, Jesse. Did I leave somebody out? Pete and Katie, there you are. Yeah, what are you guys using?
We're using the word yes.
Okay, great. Okay, so we're gonna, it's okay, Lily. So we're gonna work on sit. That's our first exercise that we're gonna work on. I know some of you guys are already getting some sits out of your pups, which is great. They may be default sits. They figure out really quickly if they put their bottom on the ground that we get really happy and we become a Pez dispenser just for them. That's when I was talking about how training gives dogs control over their environment. They start to figure out my bottom. If I do this, then I'm going to make you deliver a treat to me. So, and that's great. I love default sits, but what we need to make sure of, we like to start from scratch when we're teaching a behavior with Plucky Puppies classes, because the process we use for one behavior is going to be a lot of the time a process we might use for another behavior. So there's kind of a template, if you will. So I would like for you guys to start out not saying the verbal right now. We're going to leave out the verbal, and we're just going to be teaching the behavior. I'm just going to talk it through, and then I'm going to give a little demo with Lolly. We are going to be using a lure. We're going to be putting a piece of food, a treat in our hands, and we are going to put the treat at the dog's nose, at our pup's nose, and we're going to angle it back and up. And usually they will follow it, and in the process of doing that, their bottoms will hit the floor. We'll go back to the floor. So we start out with a piece of food in our hand. It's called a lure. We do that a few times. We mark, and then we will let go of the treat and actually deliver it to them. So we lure them into the position, we mark it, and then we deliver from the other hand. Or actually, I'm sorry, we're not there yet. We release it from our lure hand. After you get a few successes, don't worry about this right this minute. I'll go over this again, but I just wanted to just let you know, we will actually be taking the food out of our hand, because when the food is in our hand, it's more like a bribe. They can see it. And if they see the food, then they will never do it unless they see the food. What we want to do is get them to wait for the food and the delivery of the food, and it'll become more like a paycheck. And so they won't have to see the food always to do the food. They have to wait for it. But first, we're going to put a piece of food in our hand, and we're going to lure them into the position of a sit. So I'm going to do a little demo with Lolly. Let's see, make sure you guys can see. Yeah. So I'm just using a marker word because I have a Chihuahua that goes nuts. Speaking of that, Quinn, I do have one dog that actually she thinks that the clicker is only for her always. So I use a marker word during class so that it doesn't get her too crazy back there. So I'm going to toss a treat to get her up out of the sit. She's giving me a default sit. Now I'm going to wait till she's walking towards me at her nose. Yes. And then I'm going to deliver it. I'm going to toss a treat again. Yes. Good girl. Thank you. So I'd like for you guys to see if you can get a few sits, like 3 or 4 with food in your hand. And then I'm going to demo taking the treat out of our hand. We call that fading the lure, basically. And if you find that your puppy just keeps sitting in front of you, toss a treat off to get them up and be ready when they turn back to you. Before they give you the default sit, I want you to go ahead and put that food at their nose and angle it back. That looked great with Rosie. Actually, Gloria. Let's see what's going over there. Ollie, what's going on? So Ollie looks like he's defaulting into a down. That was perfect. And I might try to get it maybe a little closer to his nose, but Chris, but I don't know if you need to because he seems to be going right at it.
Yeah, we've been practicing this one for a while, so
Oh, excellent. Okay, looking good.
pretty solid so far.
How's it going with Scooter? That looked great. And Scooter's jumping up to get the treat, so that just means you need to get that treat and release it sooner so that he doesn't feel the need to jump up for it. So just quickly do the lure and quickly deliver it and keep it low so he doesn't feel the need to jump up. Let's take a look at little Rosie there. That looks fantastic. And she's going to slide right down into a down. That's funny. How's it going there with Gloria?
Good.
Excellent. I'll just take a quick peek.
Yes.
So she did a bit of a default sit there, which is, like I said, I love default sits, but let's see if we can get, let's toss a treat off and get her back up again. And let's, and get ready to get that treat in there. Beautiful. That looks fantastic. Love it. Okay. So after you get 3 or 4 successes, let's see. Shannon, how's it going over there?
He keeps going back to his mat and looking for his pig ear.
Oh, okay. Yeah, he loves that pig ear. That where is the pig ear? Somewhere far away? Is it still in general vicinity? I would actually take that pig ear and put it someplace a little further away from him and see if you can get him interested again. You almost had it there. And on this, since he's so distracted, have you got your highest value treats going there, Shannon?
For the most part, yeah. I mean,
Okay.
everything is kind of high value to him.
Okay, good. He's pretty worked up. That's why he's just having a little trouble. He's jumping up and you know, and sometimes with the smaller dogs, it can be a little more difficult. But I have a feeling when he's less worked up, it's probably not so much of a problem.
We haven't had much success. He just kind of jumps up at us.
There, okay. Yeah, this is, let me see. I would try. Okay, what I would do with him is just wait for him to sit on his own. This is called capturing, you guys. Since he's having a little trouble doing it with a lure, what I'd like for you to do is just wait him out and see if he'll offer it on his own. It takes a little longer. So when you guys are just hanging out with God, I'm blanking on his name, Reginald. When you're just hanging out with Reginald, I would just watch, and when you see him actually just offer a sit, I'd go ahead and mark and reward that, because we just want to get him more offering the behavior more. And so, yeah, that's called capturing, but really all it means is waiting for the behavior. And then when you're finding that he's maybe a little less worked up, maybe try to do it with the lure when he's maybe in a calmer state. But you're saying that you're finding that often, that when you pull out the food, that he is getting really worked up and start not wanting to just calmly sit for it, right?
Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah. So what I would do with him, because that seems to be an issue, is I would work on it's the style of capture instead of luring with him, getting him into a sit. And
Okay.
Once you've got him going in with waiting for the behavior and doing this a lot throughout the day, when you notice that he just sits, it requires a lot more observation and waiting. When you get him doing that behavior more and more, then he's going to offer it more and more. And that then we will be able to get to the point where we're going to add that verbal in. We're just going to take a slightly different tactic with Reginald than we are with everyone else, since the lure is a little bit more difficult for him. So has he offered one in the last couple of minutes? I'm just curious.
He went into I have his crate here, and he went in there and sat. And so I clicked and gave him a treat.
Perfect. We'll keep it at that for now. Let's see. How's it going over here? Good. How's it going? Rosie looks like she's got that down. Okay. So what I'd like you to do, once you're getting some successes with the lure, now we're going to actually we're going to get rid of the food in our hand. So I'm going to show you how to do that. So I'm going to have no food in my hand, but I'm going to make it look like I have a piece of food in my hand. And it's a bit of a fake out, but I don't feel bad about it because they're still going to be marked and rewarded from the other hand. They're still going to get their treat. We're just teaching them how to wait for it a little bit, and we're turning it more into a paycheck than a bribe. Lottie? Yes. So I'm offering it from the other hand. Yes. Good girl. Nice. So this motion is eventually going to start turning into a hand signal. So right now it looks like that. And eventually we're going to get it, and we're going to keep morphing it until finally the hand signal for sit is just going to be the simple little this, just palm up, and you won't have to move it. When we're learning it, we have to be very, very dramatic to get our puppies to do it. So once we get the food out of our hand, we can actually start slowly morphing the lure into the hand signal. And your dogs pick up on that pretty quick. I'm just watching little Reginald there. He's a cutie. Okay, you guys, we're going to move on. So when you start out your training session for sit, I would like you to go ahead and use a lure right now to get them going, and then take the food out of your hand and do a little fake out. Actually, I just want to like quickly do a little round of watching you guys do it without the treat in your hand, and then we'll move on. It's looking good. Great. That looked great with Quinn. A little Gloria. Just give a little quick with Gloria. Pretend like you've got that treat right in there. Perfect. And then mark and reward. And then we'll mark and reward it from the other hand with Gloria. So are you delivering the treat? I'm missing the delivery of the treat with Gloria.
Do you want the second one to be a delivery of the treat?
So we're pretending that we have a treat in our hand, and then we're doing the same motion as if we had a treat. And
Okay.
then we are going to mark when they do the sit, and then we're going to deliver a treat from our other hand.
Got it. Okay.
So they still get a treat. They just get a little delay in the treat.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
Okay, cool. So I'll just take a quick look and see what we got here. So they always, when we deliver the marker, there's always a treat to follow. That is something you have to stick by. It's like a contract we have with our dogs, that the marker always predicts a treat. Okay. Perfect. That looks great with Gloria. Okay, excellent, guys. So yeah, so start out by warming up with the lure, have the food in your hand, and after at each at your training sessions, get them warmed up with the lure, take the food out of your hand, then ask for, then make the same motion, mark and reward from the other hand. And also something you can start doing is using sit for please. That's a great behavior. If your dogs are already doing default, it'll make it even easier. If your dog wants to, say, go outside in the backyard, maybe ask for a sit. If your dog wants to play, ask for a sit. What happens is when your dog wants something, they will just start sitting to ask you for it. And if they're in a sitting position, it is always good. They are not getting into trouble. They're not jumping on you. They are asking you politely for what they want. So I highly encourage asking for sits when you want to deliver something fun or happy to your dog. Okay. Next behavior we're going to work on is leave it. Leave it can save your dog's life. So I highly encourage you to put some time into this. I had a dog that grabbed a wad of chicken bones off the sidewalk and choked. He did live, but with no help from me, he actually threw himself on the ground and on his side and performed the Heimlich maneuver on himself, and it actually came out. And so he saved himself. But if it was years ago before I knew anything about training, if I had taught him leave it, I would have been able to avoid that whole thing. And he might have died from that. It was very possible because he was literally not getting any air. You could tell it was a full on choking situation. So I'm sure you've seen some people out and about, and maybe yourself, because we've all done it. And our dog tries to get something that we don't want them to have out in the street or whatever. And then we bark out, leave it. And sometimes the dog doesn't go for it. And usually what the reason for that is that they've been startled and scared. But we don't want to teach leave it like that. We want to teach leave it as a happy event. So what will look like is your puppy will see something on the sidewalk, cat poo or chicken bones or whatever it may be. You will say leave it. And instead of going for it, your puppy will turn back towards you excitedly because you will have built this history of giving them something extremely high value for leaving things. But we have to teach this behavior in small increments and slowly build our way to looking like a real life situation. So the first step of leave it is we take a low value treat, we put it in our palm and we close our hand. And we have a high value treat at the ready, either in our pouch or in our other hand behind our backs or like tucked up. I usually use kibble. We're not even saying leave it right now in the beginning of this behavior, teaching this behavior, we do not say leave it. We present our closed fist to our dog's face. Usually what happens is your dog is going to start pawing at it and trying to get to the treat. They're going to do this for a little while. Usually they do. Dogs are, like I said, opportunists. They try something until it doesn't work and then they try something else. So after a while, they're going to be like, this is not working. And they're going to pull back even for a split second. And that's what you're going to mark and reward, the disengagement from your hand. So present the hand, puppy clawing, mouthing, pulls back, mark and reward that. So I'm going to use Lolly. This one's a little hard for me to demo because all my dogs are pretty good already about not touching my hand at all. But also, if your dog doesn't go for it at all, that is also something you reward. They don't have to go for it to get and then disengage. If they don't go for it at all, that is also something you reward. Usually that's not the case. But I'm going to go ahead and demo it with Lolly, but she is most likely, she might check it out for a minute and then pull back, but we'll see. So I got a high value treat ready and a low value treat in my closed fist. Lolly. Yes. So as she turned her nose away from it. Yes. So she smelled it and then she broke contact just slightly. And that's when I mark and reward. So low value treat in your closed palm, high value treat ready, either tucked up here or behind your back or in your treat pouch. That's your call. Present it to their face, right up in there. We want to get in there so that they can smell it. So I'll just have you guys try it. We're not saying leave it right now. We're not quite ready to add that. We want to get a few successes first. So I'm watching Scooter. That would have perfect. Yeah, when Scooter looked down. And the other thing is if your dog even gets distracted and for whatever reason that your dog turns away from your hand, it doesn't matter. You still want to mark and reward it. Let's see how Gloria's doing there. Can I see Gloria again? Sorry, I looked away for just a second. So I was just going to take a quick look. Beautiful. Perfect timing there. Excellent. Okay. Stephanie, you guys are up.
He's lying down right now.
No, it doesn't matter what they're doing. They can be lying down, sitting down.
Yes.
Did you get a little break in contact there? It looked like it. Perfect. Good timing with that. What was that? Oh, let's take a look at Reginald. This will be a good one for him. There it was. Perfect. Yep. He just looked away just for a split second. And there you go. You got to get it in there. So let's do a few repetitions of that. I'm just going to keep going around. How's Rosie doing there? That's what we want. We want them to get in there. There it was. Perfect. Nice. Nice timing with that. Yeah. And after a while, I had a dog one time that when I was doing this exercise with, he was showing me he was leaving it so much that he actually he did a little hop backwards just to show just how much he was leaving it. And that's what you might get sometimes. So let's take a look at little Ollie here. So he's one of those dogs that uses his nose first and then he pulls back and then he puts his paw in there. But when you get that, yeah, exactly. When you get that first disengagement, mark and reward it before he has time to pull that little paw out and start using it. Because that was his plan B, Chris. Ollie's like, okay, I'm gonna try it with my nose first. And and my plan B, and get it right in there. So yeah, it's looking good. So so now it looks like everyone's getting some successes. So what I'd like for you guys to do is say leave it, then pause for just a beat, and then present your hand the same way. And what we're doing is we're also, when we say leave it, we're kind of preparing, they're giving them a chance to get their head in the game, to know what the game is that we're going to play. So I think you guys are all ready to go ahead and put that cue in there. So say leave it, pause, present your hand. So let's take another little quick round, see how that's going. Take a look at Reginald there. Nice. And something I forgot to mention, and Shannon just reminded me, after you present your hand, they leave it, you mark and reward it, take your hand away, and then start it over again. We don't want to continuously hold our hand out there, because that's just one long leave it, and they are not ready for that. We need to make these leave it short and sweet, so to make sure that they're getting rewarded. They're getting lots of rewards for lots of successes. Shannon, I like how you're putting your hand behind your back. That's excellent. So that was beautiful. So Reginald didn't even go for it at all. And to remind you, when they don't go for it at all, that is a win, because our next step in leave it is exactly going to be that. So if they're already not going for it, they're already on their way. So I'm going to take a little look at Ollie, see how it's going there. Beautiful. And I can't hear some of you guys because it's muted, but is everyone saying leave it and then pausing? And then you are. Okay, perfect. How's it going with Quinn? He's one of those paw guys too. So yeah, if you can just catch that first, leave it with his nose before he has a chance to get that paw on there. Let's try that one more time, Quinn.
Leave it. Yes. Because I have a little bit of a higher value.
Let's try it one more time. There, get that perfect. That was perfect. You quickly got that reward in there before he had a chance to do any more contact, and get your hand gone. So we got to be quick with these guys. They don't have a lot of attention span. So we got to make sure that we get that reward in there quickly and take away the temptation so that we don't make it harder for them. And that way we can get a lot of reinforcements in there for what they're doing. Katie, how's it going there? So I can't really see. There she is. Beautiful. She just, her thing, I love her style. I'm just going to slide right down into a down. And that is a wonderful leave it, because now she's not available to go to your hand anymore. Excellent. This is looking good, you guys. Did I leave anyone out? Oh, I think we got that. So again, when you start your, you start it, make sure you say, we're all at the point, I want you to go ahead and say leave it, make a pause, put it right up to their nose, and quickly mark and reward that tiny bit of disengagement. Oh, that was great. Oh, Reginald's onto this. He's got this down. Any questions? Okay, so the thing is, I don't want you guys, I'm going to ask you guys not to use the leave it cue anytime. I've got like a, let me get my cursor out of the way. I'd like for you guys to only use the leave it cue when you are actually training. If you try to use this when your dog is not ready, we have to, I mean, we all know this, the dogs don't speak English, but we're all guilty sometimes of forgetting that. And if you try to use that before your dog actually knows the leave it cue, and then they don't leave it, what you're doing is teaching your dog to tune out the cue. And what you're also doing is you're practicing failure. Practice makes perfect, but only mostly perfect practice makes perfect. If you're training and you keep setting them up to fail, you won't make any, you're most likely are not going to make progress. We're wiring their brain, and we need them to succeed, and we need to reward those wins. If they're failing, you're spinning your wheels. Your dogs are going to get frustrated because they don't understand why they're not getting rewarded, and you're going to get frustrated as well. So just make sure that we are setting up the scene so that they are successful. so that we can deliver those treats to them and deliver those rewards. If they're constantly hearing this cue and they don't know what it is, they will just start tuning it out, like most of our chatter that we do all the time. And you're setting yourself up to never really be able to teach this very important cue, and that's leave it. That could save your dog's life. Okay, moving on. And again, don't forget to use a lower value treat in your leave it hand and a higher value treat for the reward. Because eventually we want is this long history of them leaving something and getting something really, really special. So that when eventually down the line, when we get to the point when we're using this in a real life scenario and they leave that really smelly, awful, scary, whatever on the sidewalk, even if we're not exactly trumping that, they will have this long history of us trumping whatever it was they were leaving, and that should carry us through. Okay, next up, let me just check the time real quick. We're doing good. Let's see. I want to talk a little bit about leash walking skills. We are going to work on getting a loose leash. This one is a bit more difficult to teach in the Zoom format, but we make a go at it. We do our best that we can. And that will actually involve, not this week, but maybe next week or the following, I'm going to actually show a really good video that will help illustrate it, because it's a little bit hard for us to work on that in our living rooms. But today I'm actually going to teach a skill, a small little exercise for you guys to do to start working towards leash walking skills. Right now, our puppies are a lot more interested in us, and that's going to start changing as they head into adolescence. So now is the best time for us to start building on these, working towards getting some good leash walking skills while they're still more interested in us. Dogs don't come out of the womb knowing how to walk on a leash any more than we do. So we have to teach them how to do that. And when they're pulling, they're not trying to dominate us. When you attach yourself to something that moves faster than you, then you're going to get pulled. It's just simple. It's just the way it works. So they're just doing what they do. The two elements of getting a dog to walk really well on a leash are, one is building value on them giving us their attention, and the other one is building value on them wanting to stay close to us. And again, both of those are going to be easier to teach right now at this point. So we want to work hard on that. Strangely enough, the best way to start working on leash walking skills is to actually work off leash. So the exercise that I'm going to ask you guys to do is, I need you to do it in your living room or in your backyard or somewhere where you feel safe to let your dog be off leash. And it's a very simple exercise. I'd like for you to just be hanging out with your dog and not be too far away from them. And when they turn and look at you, I'd like for you to move backwards excitedly and mark and reward as they follow you. It sounds really simple, but what we are doing is rewarding them for following you. And in essence, that is kind of what leash walking is. We want them to follow along with us on our journey. So what we're working on with that is building value in proximity and coming towards you and being with you. So again, and this is in your homework, just find a good time when you're just hanging out with your puppy. Don't put too much distance between you and your puppy, because as you're being excited and moving backwards, I don't want you to be so far away that it's difficult to deliver that treat. So you're going to mark and reward as they're following you. I want you to throw a party. You need to be very, very excited when you are moving away from your puppy. the environment is extra, extra, extra exciting, and we're trying to compete with that. So I once was in my neighborhood. It was a few years ago. Actually, it was about 3 years ago. I just taken this was actually a recall clinic I just taken, but it was emphasizing in getting your dog to follow you and come towards you is to be super ridiculous. And this man had lost his dog. His dog got away from him, and I felt bad, and I was just trying to help in any way. And so I just started acting like a complete fool and moving away from the dog. And the dog came to me, and I was able to get the dog because dogs are drawn to that. He was sniffing around. He had just gotten away, and the world was this new, exciting place for him off leash. And so I had to trump it. And so that's what we have to do. We have to trump the environment. So, yeah, just wait for your dog to look at you. If you're not getting any attention from your dog, make a little prompting noise. I'd ask you not to say their name, but it's okay if you want to, but don't repeat their name. Make a little kissing noise, a little clucking noise, sometimes I go, just do a little clicking noise. If you're having trouble, your dog doing it on their own. But I'd really like for you to wait them out to choose to look at you before you do this exercise. But if you're in training mode, you don't have to keep waiting. Go ahead and help them out a little bit. And as they turn towards you, put on the Ritz. Be exciting, move away from them, and reward them for following you. So that's going to be your first little exercise in leash walking skills. And also, when you're out walking your dog, if you guys are at that point with your puppies, if you feel safe walking your dog at this point, and everyone's in a different probably space at this time when it comes to that, mark and reward anytime your dog gives you attention when you're out and about. And also, don't forget to always have treats on you for making those positive pairings when new things come into the environment. What I talked about in the orientation about socialization. Be ready to feed your puppy when something comes along. If you see a dog in the distance or there's some strange noise, feed your puppy. Always have treats on you when you're out and about. Reward your puppy when they just check in with you. Check-ins are golden. If you can get your dog to check in with you on a regular basis, and you get your dog to want to be near you, most of your worries, most of you're almost 90% there on a lot of your training. So those are golden. Okay, I want to talk quickly. We have a few minutes left. I might go over about 2 minutes. I wanted to talk quickly about preventing food guarding. This is a huge thing. We all guard. We lock our things up. That's our way of guarding things. And dogs guard too, but it can really be a problem. It can be a problem. One of the main reasons that dogs, besides being under socialized or not socialized, and separation anxiety, the other one is winding up in a shelter because they resource guard. Right now, we can put in a tiny bit of prevention and yield massive results. Later on, once the resource guarding is entrenched, we can put massive amount of work into it and maybe yield a tiny bit of results. And sometimes, well, first of all, it's going to involve private training and a lot of money, most likely. And second of all, we might not even be able to, it's more difficult. The more entrenched guarding becomes, the harder it is to work on. I'm not saying it's impossible, but I just want to highly encourage you guys to work on it now. So what I would like for you to do, when your puppy is laying there working on a chew, a Kong, a bully stick, a marrowbone, whatever it is they're working on, I would like you to walk up to them, take some really high value treats, set them next to your dog so that they can see them right next to them. Like say here's their head. I would like you to set the treats right here so they can see them and smell them. When your dog goes for the treats, I would like for you to pick up their chew, wait for them to be finished with the treats, and return the chew to them. If they don't go for the treats, it's not a fair trade. So you need to make sure that what you give them is something they want. So what we are doing here is we're creating trust in your puppy so that when they see you coming, they don't think you're going to take away their chew. Now, granted, there are going to be sometimes you have to take it away and keep it, but that needs to be the smallest fraction. So what that means is there needs to be a lot of work done. So when that one or two, you know, those occasional times come when you have to take it and not give it back to them, you will have this huge history of taking it and giving it back to them. So eventually what you would like to see is when you come walking towards your dog, they are going to be happy that you're coming, because not only do they get treats, they get their chew back. So we're building trust in you not to be taking their things. Also, when they're eating, another thing you can do is walk by and lay something really yummy in their bowl and keep walking. Or if they're working on their chew, you can walk by, drop something next to them and keep walking. The main exercise I would like you to do is the trade. And the main exercise that I would like you to always do when you take their chew from them is to do a trade. And the time that you need to take their chew and keep it, I'd like you to do a scatter feed so that they are busy picking up treats. So it gives them a little more space between when they took the chew and when they discover the chew has been taken. And it kind of disassociates you from having done the deed a little bit. But always do the trade. So we are working on trust. A few signs of resource guarding: taking the item and running away with it. They could just be playing a game, but it is definitely a possible sign. When you approach, as they're holding it, they tighten their grip and they get still. That is a really big one. Another one is they continue to look at their chew, but they look at you out of the sides of their eyes, and you're going to see like whale eye. We call it whale eye. You're going to see the whites of their eyes. Another one is an obvious one. They're going to give you a low growl. So those are some of the main ones. Be glad, though, when your dog is giving you a warning. Always be glad. We never want to train a warning out of a dog. A silent biter is the worst. So dogs will let you know when they are uncomfortable, and their signs of letting you know will escalate. If you ignore their signs, they will keep upping the ante with their signs of how they feel. So anyway, I digress a little bit. That's just something important I'd like you guys to know. Make sure they want the trade. Make sure they take the trade and then give it back to them. And that's just, I want you guys to do that always when they're working on a chew. And put it so when they turn to get the chew and they turn their head to get it, you can take it without being too obvious. Never pull it out of their mouth. We always want to trade up for their chews. One quick reminder, try to get your puppies in some puppy socials. We do them. Check our website, Doggy Business, Wonder Puppy, Brooklyn Yard Vet, Humane Society. I highly encourage you to get some play in with other puppies so that they can learn how to play appropriately. All right, you guys, if you have any questions, feel free to email me, and I hope you have a wonderful holiday. And I will see you next week. Everybody good? No questions? Okay, take
Thank
care.
you. Happy holidays.
All right, take care, you guys. Bye-bye. Happy holidays.
Bye.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Bye. Thank you.